All right, we are diving deep today into a story that's got everyone in New York City talking. And, well, it's about the indictment of Mayor Eric Adams.
Definitely a big one.
Yeah, we're talking federal charges here, bribery, campaign contributions, the whole 9 yards. And it seems like every hour there's something new dropping.
A whirlwind.
It really is. So we're sticking with AP News, a source we know we can rely on to get us the facts and all the latest as this thing unfolds, so we can try and make sense of it all.
Absolutely. Cut through the noise.
Exactly.
Because this isn't just some local political drama, right? This goes way beyond, raises questions about, well, corruption, foreign influence, you name it. I mean, this is the heart of New York City we're talking about.
And it's one of the most important cities in the world. So, yeah, so let's break it down, get into the weeds a bit.
Sure.
The indictment, what's it saying? It claims that Adams accepted bribes, illegal campaign contributions, all this from foreign sources. And this was when he was a borough president.
Right. So before the mayor's office even.
Exactly.
And get this. Part of this whole alleged deal involves some favors, let's call them, related to the Turkish consulate in Manhattan.
Okay, so we're talking international dealings now.
It gets pretty intricate, yeah.
Wow. And it's not even just like vague promises either, right? I mean, they're saying he was really in the thick of it, even telling staff to delete messages, text messages that, according to prosecutors, showed this whole quid pro quo thing with people connected to the consulate.
That's right. And when you see those kinds of details emerge, attempts to cover things up, it starts to raise a lot of red flags.
Yeah, like where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly. And prosecutors, they love this kind of stuff.
Makes you wonder if this is just the tip of the iceberg, though,
It does make you wonder.
Because on top of all that, they're saying Adams messed with the city's matching funds program to funnel even more shady money into his campaign.
Honestly, I always hear about these campaign finance laws, but I'll be honest, they seem so complex.
Oh, they are. They're incredibly intricate, but the basic idea, I guess, is that it's supposed to, level the playing field. Candidates who follow these rules, limits on donations and all that, they get a boost from public funds, so everyone has a fair shot.
Right, makes sense.
So to accuse someone of manipulating that whole system, well, it implies a deliberate attempt to game the system, right? For personal gain. So we've got these alleged bribes, these deleted messages, this whole campaign finance scheme. It seems like a lot to come back from, but Adams isn't backing down, is he?
Not one bit. He's calling the charges completely false, a total fabrication.
And he has the right to defend himself, of course, but you have to wonder, how strong is his defense? I mean, these are federal charges. This could be his whole career on the line here.
It's a high-stakes battle for sure, and one that's going to have everyone watching closely.
Yeah, it's like they're saying he's got a case, but what do they really have to go after a sitting mayor like this?
That's the big question, isn't it? What's the smoking gun? What kind of evidence do they have? I mean, to bring an indictment, prosecutors, they need to show the goods to a grand jury, convince them there's something real here.
Yeah, you can't just point the finger and yell corruption. Right.
Right, exactly. It's got to be more than just suspicion. They need cold, hard proof. And from what we're hearing, they've been digging into Adams's finances, like really going through his records, looking for anything out of place, any money that doesn't add up, that might connect back to these alleged bribes.
Yeah, following the money, right? It's classic.
Classic for a reason. It's often the key. But it's not always enough, is it? They'll be looking for more than just dollar signs, I'd imagine. Witness testimony, that's where things can get interesting.
Oh, for sure. Someone's spilling the tea, right? Like people who might have actually seen something go down, some shady backroom deal, or maybe they were involved somehow.
Right. Could be former associates, campaign staff, anyone who was close to those alleged dealings with the Turkish consulate or the campaign finance stuff.
Makes you wonder who else might be sweating bullets right now, hoping they're not next.
Yeah, because this kind of investigation, it can snowball. It's like they pull on one thread and suddenly they're uncovering a whole web of potential wrongdoing.
And we're not talking small town politics here. We're talking about New York City, one of the most important cities in the world, with a global reach.
Absolutely. What happens in New York doesn't stay in New York, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, even if Adams beats these charges, even if he's totally cleared, this whole ordeal, it leaves a mark.
Yeah, like a cloud of suspicion that's hard to shake, right?
Exactly. And that can make it really tough to govern effectively, You lose that trust, that authority.
And that's the other thing about this whole story. It's not just about Adams, is it? It's about the people of New York City, their faith in the system, in their government.
It cuts to the core of that trust, for sure. Because if this kind of thing can happen at the top, it makes you wonder what else might be going on, right? It raises these questions about fairness, about whether the powerful really play by the same rules as everyone else.
And let's not forget, Adams, he ran on cleaning things up, on being different from the old way of doing things.
He did. He campaigned on that very idea. And that's why this hits so hard, I think, because it feels like, well, a broken promise, right? Like maybe things haven't really changed after all.
And that's a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people. And the thing is, this whole situation, it's not just another day at the office for New York, right? We're talking about the first time ever that a sitting mayor has been indicted.
Yeah, this is uncharted territory, no doubt about it. I mean, New York City, it's got a colorful history, let's say, when it comes to politics and, well, yeah, corruption, but this is different.
A whole other level.
Exactly. To have a sitting mayor indicted, it's unprecedented, and the impact on the city, on its political scene, it's going to be huge, no way around it.
So where do we go from here? Does Adams have to step down, or can he actually run the city with this hanging over his head?
Legally, no, he doesn't have to resign. He can stay put, fight these charges, hope for the best.
But politically, that's got to be a different story.
Oh, completely. I mean, there's the court of public opinion, right? And then there's the reality that someone else might be able to remove him, even if he won't budge.
Someone like, well, the governor.
Exactly. All eyes are on Kathy Hochul right now. She's got the power to remove Adams, even if he digs in and refuses to resign.
And what's she saying about all this? Is she backing him up or calling for him to step down?
So far, she's been pretty tight-lipped, acknowledged the charges are serious, but hasn't said Adams needs to go. Basically playing it safe, watching how things play out.
Smart move, politically speaking.
Definitely. But she can't stay silent forever.
Right, at some point she's going to have to pick a side.
Exactly, and that's when it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Because the pressure is going to be immense from all sides. Some will say she has to hold Adams accountable, others will tell her to let the legal process play out.
Talk about being stuck between a rock and a hard place.
No easy answers there. But let's say, just for the sake of argument, that Adams does step down. What happens then? Who takes over the reins?
Yeah, who becomes the mayor of New York City?
Well, they have a plan for that, a line of succession. In this case, the public advocate, Jumaine Williams, he would step in as acting mayor.
Okay, so that's temporary, but what about a long-term solution?
That'd mean a special election, a whole new race for mayor to finish out Adams's term.
Wow, that would just throw everything into chaos, wouldn't it?
Total frenzy, you can bet on it. Candidates scrambling, trying to get their message out, the fundraising, it'd be wild.
Wow, so we've got these allegations of corruption, this trial that everyone's watching, and now the possibility of a whole new election in New York City.
It's a lot to unpack, and I think the biggest takeaway here is that this isn't just some isolated incident, It's a reminder that power, accountability, trust in our institutions, those things are fragile.
In this story, it's not over. Not by a long shot.
No, we're just at the beginning, and the impact of all this, it could be massive, not just for New York City, but for the whole country, maybe even beyond.
It makes you realize how important it is to stay informed, to ask the tough questions, and to hold our leaders accountable, Ran.
Absolutely. Don't just take our word for it. Check out those AP News articles we mentioned. Keep up with the story as it develops, and stay engaged, because this is one for the history books.
You heard it here first, folks. We've given you the rundown, the context, the potential outcomes. Now it's your turn to go deeper.
That's right. Do your own digging. And most importantly, never stop asking those critical questions. Because in times like these, staying informed and engaged is more crucial than ever.
That wraps up another deep dive. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and as always, keep those questions coming.